Uber and Lyft,
This
they
week,
were upset about the fact that California mandates that they move their employees from 1099, their drivers, to W-2. And you and I talked about it a little bit, and you said, what's the benefit of being W-2? The benefits, all this other stuff. And I said, the person that's going to get the worst hit is who?
The
We
customer.
Said, the customers. So here's what happened. Uber and Lyft, you ready for this? Uber and Lyft might be leaving the state of California. Okay, let me say this one more time. They might be leaving the state of California. Uber and Lyft have lost their bid to delay a preliminary injunction that will force the two ride-hailing app companies to reclassify drivers as employees. The California Superior Court judge denied Thursday the company's request to delay the order from going into effect August 20th. As this legal challenges are taking place, Uber and Lyft are also aiming to build support for Prop 22, a measure that voters will have a chance to approve or reject in the November elections. Anyways, long story short, these guys are just saying we cannot do it. The measure says drivers must receive earnings guarantee of at least 120% minimum wage. Let me say that one more time.
Yeah.
This says the drivers must receive earnings guarantee of at least 120% of minimum wage while on the job, 30 cents per mile for expenses, a healthcare stipend, occupational accidental insurance for on-the-job injuries, protection against discrimination and sexual harassment, and automobile accident and liability insurance. That's what's going on right now in the state of California. So, Adam, I'm going to go to, I typically would go to Josh first, but I'm going to go to you first here. So what do you think about Uber and Lyft deciding to leave California? So who takes the biggest hit now?
Yeah, I mean, this is something that we obviously discussed in depth last episode. And I'm not going to say I was wrong, but I just had a different perspective than you. Obviously, you being a CEO, you know a lot more about having W-2 employees versus 1099. I was under the assumption that more drivers would want these benefits. That was my assumption. All right, like I'm a 1099. I'm just, willy-nilly doing my own thing, come and go as I please. Some of these things are actually, I would assume, for a lot of drivers, something they would want, right? More than minimum wage, 120%.
Yeah.
30 cents on the mile for expenses, healthcare stipend, occupational accident. These are all good things. But I didn't factor in the fact that, Uber and Lyft are fighting tooth and nail against having this. And more drivers, I think we looked at it, it was like, 80% of drivers are
No, it was
drive full-time? What is it?
12% are full-time.
12% are full-time. Okay, so 12% are full-time.
88 are not. They're
So
part-timers.
Okay, so
Yep.
meaning they technically drive less than 40 hours. So I guess, this is an open-ended question. Obviously, there's going to be a debate in election in November.
Yep.
But obviously, you as a major capitalist, if Uber leaves California, what does Lyft do? Do they benefit? Do they pick up the pieces?
They're both leaving.
Is that for sure?
Yes.
They might be.
No,
right?
they're both leaving because okay, so here's what we have to realize what's happened during the coronavirus. Okay, let's just even take you to a whole different place.
Right.
During the coronavirus, Uber's lost 67% of their revenues. Q2 over
They're down.
Q2 2020 to Q2 2019, Uber's down 67%. Let me kind of unpack what 67% means.
Please do.
Say you're making $100,000 a year at your job, okay? You're not making $33,000 a year. What's life look like?
Not so good.
Now, is that a dramatic difference in lifestyle?
Of course.
That's what happened to Uber.
Wow.
So people forget that these are companies that are trying to pay salaries, benefits, support, customer service, constant advancement in technology, cybersecurity, fighting off people that are trying to get into your servers, trying to make the experience. There's lawsuits. Uber's probably dealing with thousands of lawsuits on a daily basis. You have to hire attorneys at $800 an hour times 100 hours times 1,000 cases. People don't think about those types of things that these companies go through. All they think about is rich people. This is what they want to do. So the part that concerns me is the following. Let me tell you what would upset me. So you said something. You said, I was surprised that more people didn't want to go to W-2. Why wouldn't you want to go to W-2, right? There's all these benefits. Okay, Adam, that's the problem with politicians. The problem with politicians is the following. The problem with politicians is they assume they know what's best for you. They assume what's best for you. So meaning, hey, what you deserve is W-2. Dude, I don't want it. No,
Right.
but that's what you deserve. Dude, I'm telling you, I don't want that. And this is a case of that happening in the state of California. Some of these Uber drivers just want to be left alone. They want to drive. They don't want anybody to bother them. They want to be able to say, I don't want to do this. I want to do 8 hours a week, 4 hours a week. And for them to do something like this and hurt the company, you know, when Trump first lowered the taxes, remember when Trump lowered the taxes and capital gains, you know, we went from 35 to 23% and all of these other things disappeared. We came to the state of Texas and I had that meeting when I sat the employees down. I brought everybody here and I said, for every month you've been here, you're going to get a $100 bonus. Okay? And they said, excuse me? I said, for every month you've been here, you're going to get a $100 bonus. If you've been here for 9 months, guess what? $900. You've been here for 11 months? $1,100. You've been here for 3 months? $300.
You've been here for 15 years? Boom.
People are crying. They're emotional. Oh, this is so great. I said, don't thank me. Why are you thanking me? I can't change the tax laws. Only one guy can change the tax laws. It's the guy that got elected. If you want to thank anybody, thank him. Because he allowed me to have more money to invest into you and pass it down to you. Politicians don't realize the more you hurt companies are only dealing with 100 pennies in a dollar. That's the one thing people don't understand. Once the politicians understand that part, then businesses and politicians can work together. But
what was Ronald Reagan's famous quote? The scariest thing to hear is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Yeah, he said the greatest day of the year is Independence Day, which is July 4th of July, right?
Yeah.
He said the worst day of the year, says Republicans' favorite day is 4th of July. Democrats' favorite day is what, April 15th?
April 15th.
You know, so tax, they just want to tax, right? So, but by the way, even John F. Kennedy, if you go back to when John F. Kennedy lowered taxes, everybody's like, what are you doing to lower taxes? You know what John F. Kennedy said when he lowered taxes? He says, this is your opportunity to go save money for your family. There's nothing wrong with lowering taxes to take care of the families. It's just California politicians today just don't get it. Josh, what do you think?
I'm not going to even talk as a conservative. I'm going to talk as a capitalist, okay? Here's my issue. Anytime that you have the government step in to a situation like this, which is supposed to be a free market, and begin to regulate stuff, this is why regulation kills innovation. Okay, you see it in the cancer industry, you see it in technology. The more that you regulate something, the more that you kill all of the innovation, which is really one of America's greatest things. It's what makes us special, is that we are what? A land of innovators. We innovate, we create technology, we change the world through innovation. But the problem is that when you got people, particularly on the left, and there's conservatives there too, and I'm going to call them out here in a second, because if you go and regulate something as world-shattering and world-changing as Uber and Lyft model, which now employs people that are not cab drivers, it allows everyday Americans to make that little extra money that they need to driving from here to here without buying a overpriced medallion from the government, okay? Which, again, remember, that's why New York City hated stinking going with Uber and Lyft, because who was selling the medallions to the taxi drivers?
New York City, right.
For $1 million. Do you realize
ridiculous.
$1 million to buy a medallion to drive a cab? That's insane. So that $1 million, they have to now make it back by doing what? Putting that in the cab fare, right? Absolute insanity. But the problem is that when you start regulating the free market, it kills innovation. And the problem there is who is over the regulations. Pat said it earlier, politicians. But who controls politicians? Usually your competitor. So let me give you a little example. Who fought tooth and nail against Tesla? All right? I don't think people realized how much regulation there was on Tesla. They said Tesla's not allowed to have dealerships. They can't have a car dealership.
Who was it? The auto industry? Who was fighting against them?
No, it was
Ford,
oil.
GM? Oh, oil.
It's oil.
Big oil, buddy.
Bro, the second that Toyota started coming out with a hybrid, you started seeing all this random bullcrap. Now, look, we all understand the world in the realm of media. Okay, so we know how it can be manipulated. We watch it happen. We hate it. It disgusts us. But we know how to manipulate and how media is manipulated. So now you have oil and all these guys that want to launch an attack against someone. So there's media, but then they can go to the politicians and say, hey, we're big oil, and I'm talking to my conservative constituents now. We're big oil, all right? So enough with all that green mamsy-pamsy. Come on, this is red-blooded America, all right? So I'm going to stick a couple dollars right back here in your pocket, but you need to make sure to vote against that Tesla and that green energy initiative. Now, look, Why would we not want to make the world a better place with green technology and green energy? Why? Okay, and dude, I got cowboy boots on. All right, I got a flipping camo hat. All right, I'm 100% Texas. All right, but if you've got an industry that's able to go in any case, so all that coming back to Uber and Lyft, who do I think is behind it? I don't know. Could the taxi industry be shoving a little something? Because think, or could the Democrats, not to get political, but could the Democrats be saying, hey, we've tried everything to stop people from going back to work because we need to hurt this economy in order to get people to vote a certain way, and start thinking about how many people, one out of the three of us sitting here, one out of 33% of this crew right here, Ubers to work. What happens now when you start hurting the worker that doesn't even have a way to get to work? Because we know that there's not enough cabs to get people to work. I mean, I don't know. It stinking reeks of
there has to be
cronyism.
Politics involved behind this, because in no way logically does this make sense. Forget about, being able to reason with these guys. It doesn't seem to work in the state of California. But I pray that Uber and Lyft stay strong and say we are leaving. I hope, because if Uber says, okay, we'll bow down to the state of California, be ready for a phone call from New York, Illinois, and other states coming around the corner. If they bow down to California, everybody else is coming in.